So this video is for all my entrepreneurs out there that are kind of struggling like me, or all you content creators on YouTube that are struggling because you're spending so much time video editing and thinking of ways and trying to get video. When you're forgetting the message as we're starting out, the only thing that matters is getting videos out there. 2 tips to kind of help us get through this that I've learned from my last 10 videos I've edited on YouTube. So the first tip is just keep it simple, right? Find out who your influencers are that you watch on YouTube that have these amazing videos they like, and copy the simple stuff. Don't copy the complex stuff. Yeah, you want to make your videos look cinematic, all the color grading stuff. That takes a ton of work, right? You will eventually get there. You're not going to get there now. Your priority should be starting your business and using YouTube to generate leads for that business. You won't get there by your first 10 or 15 videos. You'll get there when you spend years of doing this editing. And then when it comes to equipment and camera, stop worrying about getting the right equipment and the camera or the right thing. The only that matters is a mic, which I have now, some kind of lighting, and a camera to shoot from. I'm shooting all this on my iPhone. I have a fancy camera and stuff that could do all this, and I went down this rabbit hole years ago. I don't use it. So this is my fancy mirrorless DSLR camera. It's a Sony a6400, I believe I bought a few years ago, with a fancy lens that gives you the bokeh, the blurry background, all the things like that. And I bought a ton of lenses for this thing. This is my Rode mic with a dead cat on it. I don't use any of these things just because I think they're amazing and they're great, but they're inconvenience. Like, I'm not gonna go grab them just because it's a pain to walk around with this and then have this on top of it with attachment and things like that. Like, oh, something like that, right? I'm just, someone like me, I'm just not really gonna do it. Because to be honest with you, at the end of the day, it's about convenience. What can you get to shoot? What can you get to just get going? You don't have to do all that fancy thing. You're overthinking things. Get to the business idea and just shoot. Speaking of shooting, one of the things I learned is my shooting style is I follow Casey Neistat, how he vlogs. He has entire videos on how he vlogs. He shoots in chronological order. He has a story that's telling, but he shoots in chronological. He doesn't plan it out. He tells a story during the edits, and he was able to pop out 800 daily vlogs for 3 years. Every single day he uploaded a YouTube video. How do you think he did that? He didn't go all this crazy editing on the color thing. He just shot it. There's footage of him shooting the camera. You could see the camera's not in focus because he is just shooting it and he doesn't care. Now, don't get me wrong, the guy's a massive storyteller. He wouldn't get to where he was if he wasn't. But the point is, he didn't care about all this crazy stuff that we're worried about how to make sound better, how to make the video better, none of that matters. Speaking of shooting, one of the most important things that I learned is that the audience have a very short retention span. If you haven't noticed, I'm constantly switching different camera angles. Now, you don't have to constantly switch different angles when you shoot, but you need some kind of B-roll. You need to zoom in, you need to crop your pictures, something. The images have to keep changing. If you want retention, every 10 seconds to 20 seconds, the image has to change. Casey Neistat does that too. There's things where he just switches camera angle around as he's talking, like what I'm doing right now. It makes it more fluid, it makes it more engaging. People tend to stick around because of that. I blame the YouTube shorts and TikTok videos for everyone having short attention span. Back then we dealt with commercials. I was watching TV and there's commercials and our attention span was like 3 to 5 minutes depending on when the next commercial is. Now videos are like a minute to 30 seconds long. That's people's attention span now. So if you want that video retention on YouTube, you need to keep switching these angles. And those of you struggling to sound more natural and kind of when you talk to the audience, you're probably not sounding natural because you're constantly trying to think of what you're trying to say. You have a script or something. So take it from me, in my first few videos, I try to write a script and I try to memorize it. And then I download a teleprompter app where I could read off the app. It is so unauthentic and so unnatural that it's cringy to watch it, right? So one of the things that I learned is it's easier to just naturally talk in front of the camera. Now, if you're the type of person that can't just naturally talk, then by all means write a script, right? But for me, what worked for me is not trying to write that crazy script, just editing or just filming like I'm doing now and just talking. You sound more natural. Think of your favorite actors and actresses in Hollywood, right? Think of how they act, and then think of them at an award show when they're reading off a teleprompter presenting an award. They're just like statues just reading. You're not gonna want to spend an hour watching that, right? Even though they're great actors, they're reading off a teleprompt. They're not gonna sound natural. It's stupid. So stop worrying about the script and just film naturally. And another reason why you want to film naturally is one of the hardest thing when you're filming these vlogs or whatever for your business and try to generate content, right? It's coming up with ideas. You are gonna come up with ideas constantly. You need to write it down. But the problem is once you start writing down and then you start writing the scripts for it and all stuff, you don't have that energetic. It's not authentic anymore. If you just film yourself throughout the day, and that's another reason why you should just use your iPhone instead of a fancy camera, right? If you just film yourself naturally in the day, when you come up with these ideas, it seems more natural. You seem more passionate about it. And as you're filming, the audience will respect that, right? They're more engaged because it's more natural, because it's the spur of the moment. And another important tip, if you're filming with an iPhone, for the love of God, turn off HDR, right? When you record a video in HDR, it is blown out. It's so white, the colors are off. HDR serves a purpose. If you want to know what it is, look it up. I spent an hour reading about it. You don't need it. If you turn off HDR and you film normally with your iPhone, your smartphone, you're gonna get amazing quality video. And that will save you a ton of time. Also, the last and most important tip that you need is you gotta get started, right? So everything I've told you about, don't worry about the equipment, don't worry about the script, just film, and you'll get better. And that's all this tip that I'm giving today. And the reason I'm giving that is just to go out there and just film ideas. The audience will find you. Stop worrying about the algorithm. The YouTube algorithm and any other algorithm for social media does not care about you, right? It cares about the audience. The algorithm is for the audience to present the best video for the audience. It's what the audience want to see. It doesn't care about you. It's not going to find the audience, and the audience is not going to find you unless you upload videos and you present yourself out there. They'll get used to you. There's a psychological thing out there talking about attractiveness of celebrities, right? And it says that a lot of these celebrities are not as attractive as you think they are. But the reason they are attractive is because they're constantly being presented to you, right? You get used to their face and then it elevates their attractiveness. And it's the exact same thing as trying to find an audience, right? The more you show yourself, the more they'll get to know you. And they'll get to know you naturally, right? That's what all these tips are, to showcase who you are. And this will make your content creating a lot easier. Because at the end of the day, we're all entrepreneurs here, right? Our main goal is to start a business. Now, if your business is not in videographer or whatever, these tips are amazing. You need to focus on getting your business up and running and not this whole social media. Just add more things to your plate. And if your business is trying to be a YouTuber and things on social media, that's fine, but you need to act more natural. You need to do it more so you get better at it. It's gonna take you years to get good, right? Think of athletes, think of all these movie stars, think of all these guys. It took them years of doing their craft to get to where they are. You're not gonna get there in a few videos. You're not gonna get there in a few months. Oh, and to give you an idea how long it took me to film this whole video, it took me less than 20 minutes to do this. That's how much faster it could be if you just stop worrying about all this crazy stuff. Less than 20 minutes with my iPhone on a tripod, walking around an apartment in New York City. And by the way, editing took me less than an hour. So I did this whole entire video in less than 2 hours because I'm doing it chronologically. I kept stopping the camera. I'm just inserting clips of different sections and just done. Not worried about color grading, not worried about anything. We're just good. Less than 2 hours for this video.